Right, evening, afternoon and morning to everyone. Really excited about what we're going to show you this week. Got some good news. We've had a lot of interest over the last week, 10 days, about what we've been doing and asking us about how they get involved. And so I'm pleased to announce that we are going to launch. So the way that this process is going to work, myself and Jeremy, we still have to look after our institutional clients and the Citibanks and the hedge funds of this world. And so there will be a limited availability for the launch. And the way that you express your interest or get into the early bird opportunities is to email us. And you can email us at help@tradingsafely.com.au. Or you can just go to the tradingsafely.com.au website, and there's a contact us there, so they can look at it. You can contact us there, get involved. Space is limited. Just giving you an update of what we're going to show this week. Gilby was really the star of the show and had a 3% up on the week. So I think he's about 7.5% up overall. He's going to give us a little update as a video because he's gigging all this weekend. And we've had some questions during the week, so we're going to talk about Apple and also some very important information when it's earnings season. So how do we control risk and what you would do? So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at some of the trades. We're going to go into the software in a little bit more detail. And just got a chat message there, sorry. We're going to go into the software in a little bit more detail. Also this week, we have our fourth apprentice, which is David. And one of the things, there was three things that were really very important to Jeremy and I about whether we would launch this product. And the first one was, could the apprentices follow the system? Could they follow the rules? Could they actually physically do it? Did they find it easy? Did it not take too much time? And could they follow the program? And the answer to that was yes. The second thing was to do with, was the software working properly, and how was the performance? So was everybody the same? Was everybody getting the same signals? I sort of like to beta tested the software, and again, the answer to that was yes. The third thing was whether it all worked perfectly, and this is where we had a bit of a problem, and it was with David, in that we had some issues with the software appearing, and all my fault. I went through all sorts of troubleshooting, and it didn't occur to me to ask what operating system David was using, and he was using Windows XP, which is something from the late 1990s, and a lot of modern software or websites or things like this just don't really function properly. So having changed his operating system, glad to say that everything's now working. So we've got Dave on the program, and I'd like to introduce him now. So welcome aboard, David. Do you want to sort of tell us a little bit about what your circumstances are and what you're trying to achieve moving forward?
Yeah, hi Sean, and hi everybody who's watching this conference. Sean's quite right. I'm still using XP as my main desktop operating system because I like it, and it still works for most things. But as Sean correctly said, with these particular packages that we're using, we've had problems with it. So I've moved the laptop over to the latest version of Windows, and everything should be okay from now on. The upshot of this is that I haven't been able to put any trades on over the last couple of weeks. But that should change fairly rapidly, assuming the signals come in, that is. But given Sean's mails this week, it looks as though we are ready for some good signals to come along. In terms of my background, I've worked on the fringes at least, of the city for the last 30 years, and I took redundancy through this year, getting closer to retirement. The redundancy package was a good one. I've been trading through the years to a lesser or greater extent as far as success is concerned. Since I've been made redundant, or taken redundancy I should say, I've been covering costs, as it were, with the trading purely on indices. One of the nice things about this system that we're looking at here is that it is for shares, stocks and shares, which is something I've not done before. So I'm quite keen to get involved with it, and I'm familiar with the packages for the entering of trades and with the chart IQ system and the signal generation, trading time signals that Sean's gone through with me. So that, in a nutshell, is me.
Okay. So what are you going to try and achieve? What would be your objective, and what would you deem to be success?
Okay, that should have been one of the first things I said. As I mentioned, I've been covering costs, as it were, in terms of trading since I took redundancy. But one of the issues I've had in the past is risk management. It's the classic thing. It's the thing that all novice traders go through, and because they have one or two successful trades, they think they can do it, massively leverage up, and then lose a lot. I've made and lost, so I'm still surviving. I've paid the mortgage off and so on. But I really need some more guidance on the risk management side of things, and the trading time system looks to be absolutely spot on for that stuff in terms of risk analysis, the amount that you put onto a trade, what you're looking at in terms of segmenting a trade off as it's on, and then cutting down the position. So that's it, really.
Okay, good. Good to see that you sort of understand that over leverage is a bad thing. It's pretty appalling.
Well, as I say, it's a thing that novice traders all go through.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there.
I was going to say, I'm in the position now where having an awareness of that and using the system, once I get the trades coming in, that'll be less of an issue.
Yep, good stuff.
And hopefully people who are watching this are taking that into account as well.
Yeah. So what would you deem to be success in terms of, would you like to just outperform what the market does? You know, so if the S&P is up 5%, do you want to be up 6 or 7, or is there a certain goal that you have that you want to achieve?
I don't have a goal in terms of monetary gain. With the way that things have been over the last few years in terms of interest rate suppression by the central banks, if one is able to survive and, well, beat the market is one thing, but to increase your capital so that you have a good base on which to retire fully, which is something I like to do. But as I say, in terms of a pure monetary goal, I don't have 500,000 or 1 million or anything like that. It's just to gain skills using the system, make a return on it, beat the market. And I mean, saying this, I think that the system will do that.
Okay, good. One thing I would say there is it's important to have some goals. Something we might discuss, even if they're modest goals. It sort of helps you on your way to what you're trying to do and achieve. So something that we can discuss offline and think about. Right, well, thanks for that, David. That's great. What I'm going to do now is, Gilby was our star man this week, and he very kindly recorded a short video of what he'd been up to. So I'm going to just share that with you, and just bear with me, and it should come up in a second. Okay, thanks for that, Gilby. Nice of him to do that. So he's pretty happy bunny of what he's done. One thing though is there was a trade that he didn't do, which would have put his P&L up another 3%, which would have put him into double figures. And I'm going to show you a little bit later about why I was very pleased with the fact that actually he didn't do that trade, and we'll go through that. Before then, we had a question during the week, which was about Apple. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen. And we'll go into the software. And hopefully in a couple of seconds, we'll be able to see Apple. The question was, the person was, you know, what is there a position on Apple? What has it been doing? How does it look? And so this is a daily chart of Apple, and there's two great big circles there. And I want to highlight what's happened within those circles and portray to you a very, very important rule. Trading safely doesn't have that many rules. We take all the guesswork out. Where you see a triangle, it's a buy or a sell signal, and where you see a number, whether it be a 1, 2, 3, or 4, it's telling you to take action and take 25% of that position off. So the first thing I want to show you is just where I'm just moving my mouse within that circle, and it's got that first blue triangle that's above a bar, and price went down for 3 or 4 days later, and then went significantly higher, so what's called a gap higher, and produced a buy signal, so it was underneath. Now, we've just entered what's called earnings season in America, so this is where companies announce their results once every 3 months, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter. There's all sorts of chat rooms, there's forums, there's things you can subscribe to that will say earnings are going to be higher, they look like they're going to be good, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're looking for. Well, I'm here to tell you now that it doesn't matter what any of those people say. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what my opinion of Apple or anything else is. In the years that I've been doing this, I've seen everything happen based on results. So you could have the best results, much better than expected, and the next day the share price goes down. You could have much better results and the share price does absolutely nothing, or it could suddenly go through the roof. We just don't know. And every possible permutation around that can happen. And our rule is that you have to check, and I'm going to show you how to do that, whether a share that you have got a signal in is going to be announcing its earnings results within the next week. And if it is, then you don't do the trade. That's our advice. Because you know what? That's gambling. It's not trading safely. We don't know what the results are going to be any more than anybody else, let alone know what the price is going to do afterwards. So when Apple had that sell signal, we wouldn't have been involved. The results then came out and the market liked it. When it gapped higher, gave us a buy signal, and you can see that the price went higher. Now on the second circle, there's another buy signal, where that number 4 is as well, and there's a triangle underneath. And this was slightly different in that this buy signal appeared the day before they were launching the iPhone 7. Now, obviously a very big news event. We all know that it's coming. The market knows what's happening. My advice, would you take that buy signal beforehand? Again, I would say no. We don't know what the market's going to think about the iPhone 7. We want the market to tell us what it thinks about it, which is what it did the following day. So again, the price went higher. Now, your volume that you could have traded if you'd have waited that day would have been less, because your risk would have been greater, because you've got that pink line, which is your protection line. And the price has gone higher. You can see the number 1 appeared a couple of weeks ago. So that means that you would have had permission to take some profits on 25%. And the rest of the position is still there. You know, sometimes news events conspire in your favor. So Samsung's new, what's it called? Samsung Galaxy 7 Firestarter has given Apple a boost, and so that's their good fortune and Samsung's misfortune. Now, how you find out what the earnings are, and what you do is very, very simple. So you can just go on to Google or any search engine, just type in USA earnings calendar season, and it normally comes up. The top of the tree is Yahoo's one, and just click on it. Comes up with this window, and it says find the symbol. So I'm going to put in FFIV, which is the stock that Gilby didn't trade. So earnings date, and it's October 26. So still another couple of weeks away. So it meant that that signal that appeared last Monday was one that he could have been actionable on. So I'm going to go back to the software and just click in here. Just briefly show you FFIV, 5 networks. Just going to spread this out a little bit. All right. Put it together. And there's our blue triangle. So there was a sell signal. Wasn't a particularly big day as such, but it was there nonetheless. Price drifted lower, and then suddenly on Wednesday just collapsed. I had a look. Was there a story? No, nothing that I could find. One of the things that talked about before, touched on, is what is fashionable and what is unfashionable. And you get this all the time, where suddenly somebody says somewhere that a stock is downgrade it or whatever, or upgrade it or something, or they just say that they don't like a sector. So it might be that the sector there's involved in. And I'm going to show you a healthcare sector in a moment, which suddenly somebody said, oh, it's all overpriced, and so everything went down. So the price collapsed, and on Friday, you can see that there's a green number 1 there. So if he'd had a position, he would have taken 25% off. And based on the risk that he was taking, or would have taken on the protection line, it was a 3% winner so far. The brown line, which is trailing protection, is falling quite rapidly as well. So that would be locking in a profit. I'm now going to show you the healthcare ETF, XLV. And this is a signal from a few weeks ago that really didn't do very much. So we have a sell signal, that blue triangle, a few weeks ago, had a big down day and then absolutely nothing, and then bang. On Tuesday, when the market fell, the Dow fell 200 that day, the stock fell aggressively and has continued to fall. So it suddenly became unfashionable. Everything to do with healthcare got sold. It doesn't really matter what it was. Now, the reason why Gilby did not do his trade was because he already had 2 positions open. So this is TDG, which he said that he did trade. Again, we've got the blue triangle, big down day, and the price has continued to fall, and then on Friday actually got a reversal signal. So you can see there's a blue triangle with a number 1 there, and what that is signaling is that he should actually take his profit, so he should walk away from that one. So he was risking 1% there. He also had his other trade, which was UNP. And he was already short that a few days before. So he was already risking 2%. He was up 5, 4.5, 5, or whatever it was. And he had United Utilities, which was doing well for him. And so he made the decision to say, well, do I want to risk any more? Because they're all sell signals, so they're generally all placing in the same way. And so he decided to say, no, I won't do FFIV. The other sell signal he had was the PCAR. And he chose that one. Now that's also gone down, but not as much as FFIV. So I was very pleased that he understood risk and said, you know what, I'm not going to take that one. As it turned out, it was the best one that he didn't do, but that's life and that's trading. That's what can happen. The other thing to remember is moving forward is the program, sign up, there'll be at different points in what they want to trade, how they're trading, what positions they have. And so those opportunities could have been there in FFIV for somebody else. So It's not the end of the world. Opportunities are always there. What we've got to do is manage the risk. Now I'm just going to show you his United Utilities and explain why he took some profit there. I'm just going to go in a little bit further. All right, here we go. So just remove that. Don't need that. In the bottom right hand side here, we have a little green dot. And as I said in previous weeks, this is not a black box. It's not hocus pocus. It's not, everything's there if people want to see it. There is no secrets. There are no secrets. So if people want to go deeper, we're quite willing and would encourage people to understand what is going on underneath. For someone like Saffron, she's not interested. She just wants to look at the triangles and the numbers, and that's great. I'm sure David will probably want to look at some of the indicators. Gilby looks at this particular one, which is called Bear Whip and Bear Cage, and he also uses the range deviation pivots. So he had this on his chart, and what happened was this little green dot appeared, which means that it is causing the trading safely software to do something as well. And if we look a little bit over to the left-hand side, you can see there's a red dot, and that's the other way around. So there was a long position, and then a bear cage appeared, and that gave him an exit. So if I put the trading safely back on, click on it here, down in the bottom left-hand side here, there was a buy signal, so that blue triangle price went shooting up. There's a number 1 there, which is caused by the bear cage. He's had his sell signal, which he held for some time, and then he's had another number 1 here appear. So this is where we're more than willing to tell you what's going on. If you want to delve deeper in, you can do so. Let's go back to me. Right, so that's a little bit about the software. Just a few things also that we need to cover. There's been a few questions come through during the week, which I just want to quickly answer. The first one was, again, the book. I touched on it last week. You can go to www.trading-time.com and go to books. It's there. There's 2 books, Mapping, which is more for basics, and the New Methods one, which is the basis of trading safely. So that was written 7-8 years ago now. A few questions about the launch. So as I said, I just put that in again. We've got a lot of interest, quite a bit of excitement there. So we're doing an early bird for people to register their interest. So you can email help@tradingsafely.com.au, or just go to the tradingsafely.com.au website and go to contact us. So just a few things about the launch and what we'll be doing next week. What we're going to be asking, we're very pleased with what the apprentices have done, and what they're going to do for us next week is tell us what their future plans are. So are they going to carry on? If they are, how are they going to do that? And so it'll be interesting to see what they want to achieve and how they're going to move forward. So we'll have some interviews with them, possibly live. If they can't make it, then we'll do a video before. And we'll be talking a little bit about the market and what's been happening and what looks to be happening. So earnings season is very important. The thing you've really got to look for is October 27th is the day that Google and Amazon announced their results on the same day. So something that market will be focusing on. So we'll be doing a little bit of that. So thanks for joining us today. Been great to have you with us. Really excited that we've decided to launch after so much time and effort. We've finally reached that point, and we will be in touch in the next couple of weeks to give you anyone who expresses interest, and we'll be saying a little bit more about it next week. Anything else that you'd like to add, David?
No, not at all. Just one point that came up during the description of the charts is that I've had a lot of experience with technical analysis and technical analysis software. The Chart IQ charts are very, very clear. the trading time signals are very, very clear. So as somebody who's had experience of TA and charting packages, I've got to say I do like the displays.
Well, thanks for that, David. I mean, that's one of the, when we decided that we would embark on this project and see if we could bring professional tools to the ordinary investor, part of it was to do with technology. Technology's moved on, so it's available. You can access this on a tablet or on your smartphone. The software Technician is a very good piece of kit. It works very well. It processes our signals very quickly, and it was doing it in real time there. It's only taking a couple of seconds for it to come up, which is very encouraging for us. We never knew whether, when we embarked on this project, whether the software would actually handle the complexity of what we were trying to get it to do. And also telecommunications, so broadband, fiber optic, 4G, all these sorts of things. So technology and pricing has come to the ordinary investor, and so that's why I'm so excited about it and so pleased that finally reached the beginning of the yellow brick road, I would say. We sort of went down one yellow brick road to get here, and then we started on another one. So really excited, can't wait to get going and helping everybody and setting them on their path to secure their future, which is what it's all about. This is in for the long term, and they're well on their way. So hope to have as many people on board that we can deal with in the limited space that we have available. So thanks everyone for joining, and there will be a recording of this that you can watch again if you wish, and we'll see you all next week, same time. Thanks very much. Yeah. And we're there. Finished. Oh, that's very nice. Now click the phone to end the webinar. Ah, it might cut you off here, Dave. I'm not 100% sure.